Blog post just hit with Mr. Negative's kit, which he's going to be one member, and then we're going to get 4 reworks to go along with that. I think more importantly than that is we did get a trailer right here, which I'm going to let run in the background for Red Hulk. And then they hinted at Red Hulk arriving on September 13th. Red Hulk arrived September 13th. That was the headline on the Marvel big press release. Interesting video right here where Hulk gets blown up and then Apocalypse reaches up to him. So this is called leading into that. So what that means to me is that patch day is going to be on the 13th. And I don't think we're going to have the Scourge. There's no information, but he'll be in game. Maybe we'll get more information, but the blog post today does not have the Scourge date for Red Hulk. All it just says is that Red Hulk is coming on the 13th, which means probably that's the date of the patch. All right. Mr. Negative, inner deanings, greetings, commanders, strikes, criminal masterminds, and their hired goons have been eagerly awaiting their day in the sun. And today, we're pleased to announce the formation of the big bad new team, Underworld. This group of villains will be led by the strike newcomer, Mr. Negative, and the other teammates will consist of Kingpin, Nobu, Green Goblin, and Taskmaster. Crime still doesn't pay, but its skills are transferable. The Underworld's team specialty will be hostile takeovers of enemy helicarriers and carving up some of the top defenders. Looks like it's going to be a war offense team. You can find the ability and stat improvements for the veteran characters in our upcoming version release notes, slated for September 13th. But today, let's take a look at the contrasting facts of the villain, Mr. Negative. So all of those rumors were accurate, and then the reworks for these Kingpin, Nobu, Green Goblin, and Taskmaster, we should know on the patch date, which is going to be the 13th. Let's go down. Mr. Negative is a controller for the Underworld team, and his health, focus, and resistance stats will be all up at the top 20 in the game upon his release. He's the linchpin of the team and allows them to thrive in Alliance War. His basic and ultimate abilities flip enemy positive effects, and in war, he applies trauma and clears revive once and charge. Boy, that looks like anti-Dormammu for sure. His summon minions via his passive ability each apply a specific negative effect with their attack and clear Underworld allies' negative effects upon their death. And we're going to get into that because actually one of them has the ability to stun on its basic attack. So that's very interesting. It looks like there's going to be a lot of summons on this team because if you look at this team, Mr. Negative, I guess on spawn, he gets one, and then every time he takes a turn, one pops up. But there is a cap to the number of people that you can have on one side of the battle, and that is 10. Kingpin has summons, and so does Nobu. I wonder how that's going to play out for sure. Again, villain, city, mystic. That's what we need is another mystic. My goodness. Controller and Underworld is going to be the tag for those characters. Let's go to his passive. On spawn, summon inner demon Cyclops and gain defense up for 5 turns. And then on every turn, summon one inner demon in the following order: Dragon, Demon, then Cyclops. And the one that has stun is the one that is inner demon, parentheses, demon, is the one that has stun. We're going to get into their abilities after we go over his kit. On war offense, on death of a summoned ally, so that could be for Kingpin and Nobu, clear 3 random negative effects from all non-summon Underworld allies with a negative effect. So that is going to be very useful. Gain 50% max health and focus. And then on war offense, the Underworld allies will gain those bonuses as well. His ultimate ability, which will not go off turn 1, is definitely slated for war offense. Clear revive once and 1 charge from the primary target. Attack all enemies for 350% damage. And flip all positive effects into negative effects. Cannot be blocked or dodged. Then his special, Demonic Assistance, energy cost 8/8. Attack the primary target for 270% damage. Apply defense down and ability block on the primary target. On war offense, apply trauma. Very good. Mind control the primary target to attack the lowest speed non-summoned enemy 2 times. and the character gains 25% damage for each attack. And then whoever you target will attack the lowest speed. It says spread all negative effects from the primary target to the lowest speed non-summoned enemies. So, you're going to be able to, if the order of operations is correct, is that they should have defense down, ability block, and then trauma. I don't think you can spread trauma, but what other negative effects are there would also, we'll have to see how that works. I wonder if you could spread the stun. Typically, you can't spread stun, but we'll have to see how this works. It doesn't specifically say. Typically, when they have a spread effect, they usually say what it can't be spread. Like lately, they've been saying can't spread ability block, can't spread stun, can't spread trauma, but we don't have any of that information here. Let's get into the summon. Oh, his basic attack before we do that. Flip 2 positive effects to negative effects on primary target seems very powerful. That typically ends up being a striker candidate right there. Attack primary target for damage, gain 20% damage per summoned ally. So there could be a bunch of those guys running around and get a bunch of extra damage. Again, he's going to spawn with a Cyclops, and then he will go Dragon, Demon, and then another Cyclops in that order. Why don't we go to the Cyclops first? Cyclops, attack primary target and apply heal block. So basically the Cyclops applies heal block, and then he also gets offense up for 2 turns. So on war offense, gain extra focus, and then 20% extra focus per underworld ally for this attack. If the primary target is Mystic, reduce their speed bar by 10%. And then the passive is interesting right here. On spawn, gain offense up for 2 turns. So each one of them has a different one right there. Cyclops is offense up, and on his basic attack, it applies heal block, right? And then they all do this. On war turn offense, on turn, apply regeneration to a random Mr. Negative ally. On death, reduce speed bar of all enemies by 10%. So that's kind of like a Greg mechanic. Then why don't we go to the Dragon one next? The Dragon one is pretty much the same thing, except for that it applies bleed. Well, let's see. The Dragon one, the Dragon one applies bleed. Gains extra focus per underworld ally. If primary target is Mystic, reduce their speed bar by 10%. All that's the same. And then he gains speed up. So the difference between the Cyclops and the Dragon is the Cyclops does heal block. The Dragon does bleed. Cyclops gets offense up. Dragon gets speed up. War offense, apply regeneration to random Mr. Negative ally. That's the same. On death, reduce speed bar of all enemies by 10%. That's the same. Now, this is the one that is pretty impressive, actually. Inner Demon, which would come on turn 2, basically. Attack primary target and apply offense down. But on war offense, instead, apply stun to the primary target and gain extra focus per underworld ally for this attack. Same situation here. Primary target is Mystic. Reduce their speed bar by 10%. On spawn, gain defense up. And then now war offense on turn, apply regeneration random Mr. Negative ally. And on death, reduce speed bar of all enemies by 10%. So it's going to be a war offense team. Looks interesting. We will have to see how it plays out with the reworks, and we will get the patch notes on the reworks when they come out on patch day, which is scheduled for the 13th. We've got some events, but we're going to skip through the events, and because that's for a separate video and different times. But I want to go to, there's going to be one with a store, there's going to be Blitz, there's going to be spending, there's going to be a whole bunch of ones. We're going to have Blitz events. All of the events will be spelled out later time. Mojo's Mayhem Strike Pass will feature character shards for Hero as Guardian starting on September 11th, season 23. So that should be in a couple days. We'll feature shards for Mighty Thor. Then on September 15th, you can start earning Valkyrie shards, completing your daily objectives in season 20 of the Strike Pass. Okay. Character availability. And there's actually a character that is going to be more considered proper. Over in the War Store, Echo will become available on September 14th for 1375 War credits. So that, to me, should be character availability, and then that should be the only part of this sentence that should be there. I don't consider the rest of this to be character availability. I guess in the technical sense, but I think when we think of character availability, we think of farmability, going into stores, things like that. And so Echo, it will be farmable, available inside of the War store starting on September 14th. Now, don't miss on the character shards for a high-profile mutant and young Avenger with these upcoming ability updates. On September 14th, Gambit is entering the supply store, Ultimus Orb, Basic Orb, Premium Orb, and Mega Orb. In the Mega Orb, he'll be replacing Captain Marvel. As far as the weekly events, we're going to have the training modules for the Skill Military Back to Bootcamp Flash event. That's one that happens, I believe, every 4 weeks. We're going to have a Quantum Prodigy Blitz for Phyla Vel. I think that would be useful for some people. Then we're going to have a Black Bolt Legendary event. And then we're going to have a Ravager Quick Rumble Blitz. And then we're going to have probably my favorite monthly event, which is Chaos Theory for silver and gold promotion credits featuring Wakandans. All right. So what do you think? We'll have to find out how the rest of this team, I think a lot of people probably are not going to be super interested in Mr. Negative and all of these characters unless they end up being a Scourge team. That was not announced here, so we don't know. War offense is not top priority. I mean, in general, arena and raids are very important. And then we've got Cosmic Crucible. Cosmic Crucible is super important. And then we have War offense, and then lastly, War defense. So where does War offense lie for you? Do you care about War offense? So we'll have to see. The jury is out. All right, let me know what you think in the comments section. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.